We did it.
We did it! It was touch and go for a
We
while.
came online. Yes.
We did it.
It's
Teamwork.
it's a lot different. Like it's a lot different doing an event. Like let's say you have back to back shows. You can set up a stream now, which takes all of the like encoding work off of like you. So you just click a button and it'll start streaming. Well, we had a back to back, so one of them has to be an event, which means I have to go in and set the encoding settings, and it was set to David's usual encoder setting. So there for a second, we may have broadcasted on David's channel there for a minute. I don't know, but if that's the case, we do apologize. But welcome back to the show, and welcome to Shannon and King Gigacel. Welcome back to both of you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here. I'm so happy to be here. Like they always say in Hollywood interviews, like Jimmy Fallon and stuff like that. Everybody says, "Oh, thanks. I'm so happy to be here." They're probably not.
So, or are you saying that you?
Oh, you mean it?
You probably don't.
Oh no, I do mean it. Sorry, I don't know why I just said this. I'm just feeling a bit sick. Sorry. No, I'm actually happy to be here, but yeah.
We're just joking with you. So I'm not going to waste any time since we're a little bit late with any kind of announcements. I'm going to let you, King Gigacel, kind of start us off with. First of all, you can introduce yourself for people who may not have caught any of the past streams with you, and you can then kind of explain why you wanted to come back based on our rather abrupt ending last time.
Right. Yeah. So, hello, my name is King Gigacel. I'm a member of Incels.is, which is a website that has been frequently DDoS attacked recently and is going down a lot. Anyway, the reason that I decided to come back on is because I wanted to give probably a little bit more insight with greater clarification on certain concepts of the black pill, of inceldom, and I wanted to provide clear pictures of the messages that I'm trying to convey and the messages that we want to convey in the community. And I think it is valuable to have graphics and studies and links to showcase exactly what we are trying to say and the background to it, the scientific background.
Okay. So Shannon, take a second as well and introduce yourself and tell people where they can find more of you if they aren't really familiar with you. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, I'm Shannon Q. I have a YouTube channel called Shannon Q, where I talk about the intersection of faith and psychology and engaging complex conversations. So you can find me there. I'm also Shan with 2 N's _Q0 on Twitter. Those are less complex conversations. It's more of a dumpster fire over on my Twitter. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, you can follow me there. And I'm happy to be here.
It's quite lovely watching your Twitter, I must say.
Oh, my Twitter is a gong show. It's nothing else like my Twitter.
What were you gonna say, King Gigacel?
I'm also happy to be here. I meant to imply I like certain celebrities and they kind of annoy me when I see them on talk shows. So I don't know. I just went off on a tangent there. I genuinely am happy to be here though. So don't get the wrong idea.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're just fucking with you. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, you're okay. You're right.
Okay, so
I'm okay. Thanks, guys.
Take it away. I guess let's you can kind of tell me when you want to navigate to your different studies or the
Okay.
things that you
Well, I'm currently on my phone, so I'll press exit. That I will exit this call. I'll just quickly test. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So basically with inceldom, I don't think there needs to be a whole discussion on, male and female differences in mental inclinations, whatever. We got off on the whole wrong foot. We went off on all the wrong tangents in the previous conversation. I think you only need to focus on one thing, that the number of dissatisfied men in society, men with lower sexual opportunities, is increasing. Incels are increasing in number, right? And what's only really relevant is why is this happening and how we can help these men cope, right? I know I say right a lot. I apologize. Anyway, I think helping them cope it should be one of our main prerogatives, right? And the images that I've sent you are basically a collection of different phrases and graphs from the different studies on the Black Pill archive on the incels.is website. If you can maybe go to that pink and blue one, if that's okay right now.
Sure. Let me. Pink and blue. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so basically what you can see on this image is male attractiveness and female attractiveness. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. That is going to be liked on Tinder, right? And you can see that females have a very large advantage. What we must really think about is that we are not going to be blaming females for having this kind of choice selection bias. 80% of females want to go for the top 20% of men, and females also vote 80% of men to be less than medium attractiveness, as you can see in this graph. This is a graph collated not only from Tinder, but from a variety of different dating websites. So this is cementing this thought that I mentioned previously, that men are struggling to find any kind of romantic and sexual success in the dating economy, right? So, as this graph indicates, men are pushed into a very tiny corner, and so only the elite men are going to be getting likes from women. And we need to just think about, like I was saying before, the consequences of this and what we are going to be doing to help incels into the future. Yeah?
Okay. I have a question, and then I'll let Shannon kind of go from there. What is your suggestion for how to fix that?
There were quite a few radical suggestions previously when we were having the conversation with Brendio. I don't think any of that is practical. I don't think that any radical changes to society are going to be a practical solution. I think social education, like especially in high schools, teaching people to communicate, men to communicate with women, right? Young men to communicate with women in like open forums, to have special classes to practice your social skills, this kind of thing. Because ultimately, the Black Pill seeks to provide the truth that looks affect your life at a very significant level, from the beginning of your life all the way to the end of your life, right? People who have a disadvantage on the look scale, this is going to affect them for their whole life. So the best thing you can possibly do is help them cope with the disadvantage that they have, right? So let's say you have an ugly guy who's going through high school, not getting much attention from the women. What the solution is going to be for this increasing number of incels is high school, university, and I suppose public encouragement of fostering male-female positive interactions, right? And this can also extend into things like reducing crime and rape against women. You just need education programs to make men more conscious of the fact that they have their whole lives ahead of them. And logically speaking, are you going to be in a better position if you are aggressive and belligerent towards women, if you display hatred towards women and like go around with the intention to rape or harm women? That is logically, you're not going to be in a good place. It's a better idea to move through the world, navigate the world with a positive perspective, respect towards everybody, right? And just expecting, not expecting that you are entitled to anything. You just want to have respect towards everybody, navigate the world, and try to cope with the disadvantage that you have, which is lower looks, right? Ultimately, it always will come back to that ugly men will have to learn how to cope, because this is something that they cannot escape from, right?
Okay, Shannon, what would you say to that?
Okay, so the first thing I'd like to address, I'm not certain how overall relevant it's going to be to the rest of the conversation. It's something that I attempted to bring up in previous conversations, but there were difficult conversations to have. You seem reasonable, so I feel like you and I will be able to interact well. So I'm looking forward to that. Is that It seems to be that there's a bit of a sampling bias when you refer specifically to dating sites, and the reason for that may well be that on those sites, you have to make an initial aesthetic judgment. That's the only information you really have to grow on. And sure, you have profiles, but most people, men or women alike, aren't going to really take the time to read those profiles. So they're just making snap aesthetic judgments. So that may not be reflective of how women go about, I guess you would say, mate selection overall in society. But I mean, I understand on those sites that those metrics are accurate, or I'm assuming that what you're presenting is accurate,
Sure.
I should say. But do you see how that could be a sampling bias based
Yes,
solely on that source?
for sure, for sure.
And
That's why there are alternative perspectives. Oh, you were going to add something?
I was,
Okay.
and then I had tea because I
Yeah.
thought you
So
were talking. So I was just going to say that making broad referencing or broad ranging is from that data regarding how women overall are going to choose somebody that they wish to date. I mean, I've never used a dating website, for example, so I'd immediately be excluded from that sample simply because I'm
yes, of course.
abstaining from using that, right? So it
Of course.
is a bias. It is a biased sample, and there's lots of variables that can't be accounted for. So do you feel as though making broad ranging inferences is a good idea, or evidence-based, or
Uh,
or reasonable?
well, yeah, of course, there are the Tinder. You make a good point, but that's the reason there are multiple different angles from which this idea is approached. Like there are the dating website studies to highlight and illuminate women's preferences, men's preferences. But then there are also other studies about celibacy rates, rates of sexual activity in high schoolers, for example, like above the age of 15. Like there are countless studies that have been done in America. I'll find them if you want me to look for them amongst the pictures that I've sent you about how many high school men have had sexual relations in the last 12 months and these kinds of things. Yeah, there are longitudinal that are done. So these longitudinal studies about sexual activity, celibacy, as well as going to things like marriage rates and all of that, together provide a stronger picture for the idea of increasing celibacy coming into the 21st century, right, in 2018, 2019, 2020. And
Can I?
especially in,
Sorry.
especially in Japan, God, I forgot the damn statistic, but I read recently that like an overwhelming amount of Japanese men and women have not had sex in the past 12 months, you know? And that
Men and
for me
women.
was quite shocking. I can't remember the exact number. But to answer your question, there are a whole bunch of different angles from which longitudinal studies approach this concept, which cement the point that it is getting harder and harder for men to find sexual validation and partnership with women
Let me
because
ask you.
women are becoming more selective. Yes, question.
Let me ask you a
What's up?
question. Based on the graph that you put through or put forth, we're talking about male attractiveness levels versus females and the likeness. If that's based on Tinder, isn't it important to note that this graph is based on a site where you're literally looking at the attractiveness of people, like swipe right, swipe left, like you're literally giving a huge image of that person, and you have to base the likes on what you are seeing there.
Yeah, that was my point too.
Yes.
It's solely aesthetic, and also it's subjective too. I mean, it's how do you quantify what is objectively attractive? Like, what's the metric that you would utilize to come to a determination that this person
Oh,
is objectively more attractive than this person? Do you use were there
yeah.
assessments of symmetry, or how do you do that? It seems like a subjective preference.
There are. No. There are actually beauty has been via a number of scientific studies proven to be overwhelmingly objective, and only a small portion of aesthetic appreciation comes down to subjective opinion. Let
No, I
me just
understand that.
go
I see that,
through.
that's not exactly what I was asking, though. Do you mind if I clarify? Because that's not exactly what I was asking. I was asking
Oh,
how you
sure. So,
quantify which people fell into those categories in order to make that determination. So even if you have a metric to assess attractiveness, and one of the things that I proposed was symmetry, for example, complexion's another one that people consistently, they'd opt one way or another in aesthetic preference if given a choice and asked to give their preference. So how do you make the determination that X group of people fall here on the spectrum? Does somebody take every single picture that was selected, either swiped right or swiped left, and then place them on a scale based on a pre-existing schematic that has an objective assessment? Or is that just an inference that people must be less attractive and that's why?
I mean, I think that's a separate thing you can explore, but I don't think that's directly relevant to the idea of inceldom. What is relevant is it's not whether this man or this woman, if they're objectively or subjectively attractive or unattractive. The single point that is relevant is that women find 80% of men less than medium attractiveness. You know, it doesn't matter if any particular man is more or less attractive. The overarching fact, which is the important fact, is that women find 80% of men less than medium attractiveness. And so you have to think about the consequences of that. Objectively analyzing beauty is a whole other conversation, right? The objective analysis of beauty.
It seems valuable when you're looking at the. So sorry. It feels valuable when you're referencing the study, though. If you're referencing the study as evidence that women are being too discerning, for example, then you need to have a bar at which to make that determination. You need to be able to say, okay, that these are the metrics. And we're clearly seeing that women are selecting on this side of the metric, unless what you're saying is that women are being discerning in general and only selecting 20% of the men. And then everything else that follows from that, if you don't have pre-established metrics that are constrained variables within these studies, is just an inference. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not like we have pictures of every single one of those men that was judged, you know. All we know is that it was as a random sample taken from the population, right? And 80% of the men were viewed as less than medium attractiveness. We don't know how attractive every individual man was, but I don't think that's relevant. I'm sure you can agree that it's not relevant to find out how attractive each and every single man was. You just
only if you're
look at
saying
that
that's the reason. Only if you're saying that that's the reason that they're being discerning, is that they're discerning along attractiveness, because then you're just making an inference. You're deciding. You're attributing a motivation to the women when there's they could have different criteria by which they're using to discern. It could be attractiveness. You could be 100% right. I find it difficult to follow through with the assessment that this is the reason without established and agreed upon metrics that point directly to it.
Okay, well, I have an alternative suggestion. Let's say it's not due to attractiveness, right? Let's just play devil's advocate for a sec. Let's say it's not due to attractiveness that women are being so discerning. So in that case, consider, in general, rating people's attractiveness, you would assume it's a bell curve, right? I'll show you this as well. Men follow a general bell curve trend. You know that there's less attractive, there's medium attractive.
You mean like a standard distribution? Because bell curves skew in
standard distribution,
directions.
yes, bell curve distribution. So let's say we don't know. Let's say, I mean, of course, there's skewness or whatever. But let's say we don't know what the cause is. So why do men have a normal distribution, and why do women vote 80% of men as less than medium attractiveness on like a study such as the Tinder study, that 80% of men were viewed as less than medium attractiveness by women? So clearly, as you were saying before, on these kinds of websites, the only thing you are doing is judging attractiveness, right? Like you're not looking at personality. These dating websites are designed specifically for visual attractiveness. So if women are engaging in these websites and saying 80% of men are less than medium, then clearly women have very high aesthetic standards. And that is a whole other conversation you can have, separate topic, but you see where I'm coming from, right?
When engaging and attempting to find a mate on that platform, perhaps. But that's not the only avenue by which somebody would choose a mate, or even the most common avenue by which somebody would go about selecting somebody, or play in the field to attempt to find somebody.
You're using You're just using Tinder.
All right.
Like, what about, there are countless other ways to, find a partner. That's just one small subset of the different ways that there
Okay.
are. And maybe it is
Okay.
that
Let
way
me.
on Tinder, but what about, that doesn't go to speak for the rest of society that doesn't use Tinder.
o- Okay. Let me offer another alternative suggestion. Right. Let's take a random case study of the typical man, typical guy who identifies as incel. Let's say me. Right. Growing up, I went on dating websites. Let me just say, for the record, I have 0 matches on Tinder. I've had it for 2 months. Been swiping all the time. 0 matches. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Growing up, I interacted with lots of girls. I went to high school, went to university. I was surrounded by a lot of women. I'm a friendly, talkative guy. I did my best to be nice, to be approachable, to be well read, to be able to talk about a variety of different topics. In my lifetime, I've never been able to attract the romantic interest of a girl, despite giving it my best shot, right? Okay, so obviously there are going to be more men like me. We form a group. We are men who have had the same lived experience of growing up, giving it our best shot, being approachable, friendly, talkative, and knowledgeable, and we have not been able to find success with women. So the question should be asked, why is there such a large group of us who have not been able to find success while others have been able to find success? What is that one factor which keeps holding so many of us back, that no matter what angle we approach romance from, we can never succeed?
You're
That's the question ultimately. And here's something else that I might propose, that it may not be simply one factor. This could be something that's multivariate. And
Yes, yes, indeed.
right. So having to isolate that would be incredibly difficult, but misattributing it would be incredibly easy, which is something that I think I kind of see on the forums. Like, that's a
There is a
valuable and important question. That question is valuable and important, but my concern is what I see the resulting determinations that people come to as to what the answer to that question is, can lead people in some pretty dark
there is
places. So
actually
I have a question for you, King, that's going to piggyback on that. That I think that this would cut through what I think the conversation needs to be about.
okay.
Do you think the onus is on society to try to fix that issue, or the individual that's having that issue? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a problem that, in your eyes, you think something broadly in society needs to be done? And if so, what that would be? Or if this is something that, on the level of the incel, they need to work on a various factor of themselves. Which do you think it falls to?
Okay. My answer to that is multifaceted. First, I would like to make the statement, and then I will go to one of those pictures that I've sent you, right?
Okay.
Okay. So I believe that society, first of all, I'd like to just say that, like I said previously, that looks hold a lot of young men back from succeeding socially and sexually, right? That's the point I've been making all this time.
that can be fair. Of assessment that, absolutely. Society places a lot of value on looks. I was an incredibly
Yes,
overweight,
no, but
unattractive kid. I know what that's like. I had
what?
bad self-esteem myself, because I had a lot of people. I received a lot of messages that I was unattractive and thus unvaluable. So I think that's true not just for men, but also for women.
Oh, okay. It's not what I was going to say, but for the record, I think you're very attractive. But yeah.
I grew out of it, but thank you.
Right. So what I was going to say is that I think it is society's responsibility to facilitate social programs in society. Obviously the easiest way would be throughout high school, educational programs to help boys and girls grow up understanding social dynamics between men and women, men and men, and women. Kids need to understand, especially with the increasing, obviously, complexity of technology. People are becoming more antisocial. People are losing their social skills, and are not understanding how to talk to the opposite sex as well as the same sex. I think it is society's responsibility to teach people what it is to be a social human, because we are all social human beings. We need to learn these social skills, and less attractive men in particular, who are going to have a much tougher time in life, they need to have this help more than anybody. They need to have this help to find some kind of social enrichment, find peace within themselves, and the ability to continue living a fulfilling life, despite the fact they may not have the romantic interests of women, right? So society needs to help in creating programs for growing teenagers to understand each other, but the individual also needs to be prepared and open to the idea of working on their own situation, and they need to be willing to accept the fact that they can live a better life, and they must not sit and wallow in the misery forever, because you have to continue living. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I agree with a
Okay,
great deal of
so
what you just said there. So yeah, I agree with a lot of what you just said there, to be honest.
right, and you seem to be quite adamant about this misattribution of why these men are not having success. That it's not primarily due to attractiveness. I just wanted to touch on that point with one of the
Okay.
studies that I have here.
Sure.
1 second. Okay. Okay, so how important is physical attractiveness in the marriage market? Do you have that image there?
I will find it here in just how important is.
Physical
Physical
attractiveness in
attractiveness.
the marriage market. By Juan Ignacio Martinez Pastor, a Spanish guy, and it's an article.
Yeah, I got it. All right.
Okay, so I have not obviously linked the entire article, but this article, I'll just quickly paraphrase here. The aim of the paper is to discover how important physical attractiveness is in finding a partner and the type of partnership sought. 2 surveys and several methods were employed, linear probability models, okay, and that's all the scientific talk, right? But the basic idea is there, that physical attractiveness, if you go to the end of the study, you will find the results that physical attractiveness plays an overwhelming role in finding a partner. One of the key conclusions that this study came to is that average and less than average men, for them, having a lower standard of looks is going to significantly impact their career potential as well as their sexual and romantic potential. It significantly decreases their chances at finding success in the career and romantic worlds, right? Meanwhile, the same conclusion for women is that average women and less than average looking women did not have their looks affect career and romantic success at all. So basically, the people who have the most difficult time due to having lower looks are men, average and less than average men. These are the people who are going to have the hardest time in career and romantic success in life. And so back to one of my initial points is that these men are increasing in number. So we need to help them cope, find ways to help these men in society lead fulfilling lives.
And I don't think Shannon or I would disagree with you there. I think where we disagree is the existent, what is what is claimed to be the existent support network, which is
Right.
The forum and the things that are. Basically, it ties back to what we talked about last night.
Yes.
You're not going to get those individuals that you're talking about that are struggling and that are having a more difficult time are absolutely 100% not going to get any better. They're actually probably going to get worse by being on that forum. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I
those
100%
social skills
agree.
you were talking about aren't going to be learned there. Those social skills aren't going to be learned there that are going to benefit them
I
existing
100%
in
agree with that.
society. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking
Would
about
I
when it comes to misattribution. Like, just give me 2 seconds. I'm so sorry. So that's one of the reasons, just because you mentioned me talking about misattribution. What my overreaching point isn't that it doesn't play a factor, or that not even that it doesn't play a large factor. So, like, obviously aesthetics matter, right? They do. That you can't deny that without being
Enormous.
ridiculous. Aesthetics
Yeah.
matter. However, what the inferences and the conclusions that are being drawn about why they matter, what that means, and the attribution that is being thrust upon women and the reasons they come to those determinations, and what that means about them, and what that means about society, and what that means for them. It seems to be creating an environment of a constant reinforcement of hopelessness that is not going to be able to help elevate somebody into the position that you seem to be wanting them to, where they're going to be able to be happy and content and function, and perhaps they will find a mate one day because they've learned better social skills and they've formed social bonds and they've been able to overcome what they see as insurmountable. But where you're existing now is not that. You have to see that, right? You have to. You seem reasonable.
Yes, I agree.
Go ahead, sorry.
Right. So I do agree 100%. It's not healthy at all. But I think one of the factors that society in general doesn't seem to understand about incels is, or like other subgroups of society in general, is that often when people have nothing else left, this is what we talked about last night, Kyle, and they just have that one toxic social group, it's better to have something rather than nothing. That's point number one. Mm-hmm. Point number two is that if you are in a state of despair and misery, then it is actually almost like a runner's high. You know how when you run a lot, then you may get really tired, but then at some point you hit the runner's high, and suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. You are no longer tired. Oh, okay. But like the point still stands, right? Runner's high. If you get to runner's high, you no longer feel the ache, you no longer feel the tiredness, you just feel that euphoria of continued running, right? Same with being miserable in a toxic social group. You get to the point where you're so miserable and you have that... Okay, can I come back in 5 minutes? Is that okay? Can you guys just talk? I just need to organize something. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be back in 3 minutes. 1 second.
Okay. First of all, let me do a mic check. Are you guys able to hear me better now? I turned up the gain a little bit, so let me know if that sounds any better. But
Kyle, you're a mess.
Huh?
Kyle, you're a mess.
I know. But to his point though, when he says something better than nothing, I disagree with that.
No, that is not better than nothing. But I think what he's ultimately trying to say is that in your head you think that this is something and that's better than nothing. He's not saying like objectively this is better than nothing. He's saying that's the mindset that somebody who gets trapped into that cyclical self-deprecation, self-pitying, universe of commiseration thinks. That's what they're thinking.
But see, to me though, if like and it's not fair for me to have to, or it's not fair for me to answer this because I'm not in his situation. I don't know how he feels. I have a relatively, I would say, healthy social life. Although if you count some of the things that we do on here, maybe not. But but if okay, let's say I'm just trying to think that if I did feel lonely, because I have felt lonely before, and I know what that's like. I still wouldn't surround myself with people who talk about touching 8-year-olds or telling people to go hang themselves. Like, to me, that is worse than nothing.
Yes.
Because
especially it makes it sound like there's no alternatives either.
Right.
I mean, it's the internet.
Yeah. At nothing though, like at nothing, you're neutral. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just nothing there. With this forum, you're almost going into the negative because there's all of these illegal, disgusting conversations going on. So you're getting a dose of negative, connotation with these conversations. So to me, that brings it below what I think you consider normal or nothing.
It would be nice if there was, like the previous incel group. Like we talked to the gentleman that you spoke to yesterday who went through the history, and previously we had when me and you and Logic and KC had the 3 gentlemen on prior, the gentleman that was on the initial one where it was, it was a support group for not just men but also women, and there was subcategories where they all, they did commiserate, but they didn't do so in such a venomous, vitriolic, sort of dangerous, illegal or borderline illegal, violent ideation type of way.
Right.
Right. So,
and that
has to exist somewhere.
That needs to be our like what needs to be put out from these talks. Our issue is not with the incels like King Gigacel, or the people who are genuinely lonely and who have an issue that needs to be addressed. Our issue
And wants a
is what they consider their their means of support. Using this forum is not going to benefit anyone. I mean, I don't care what kind of benefit he's getting out of it right now. At the base level, the conversations that are going on in there, to some extent, almost can make those things normalized, where you get to be comfortable or okay with them, or you get to where you, even if you ignore them. To me, that's frightening. Like, I could never be a part of anything where at some point the conversation is going to bounce to touching 8-year-olds, because that was the example that was given forth last night. Like, that would never be. I would never be able to ignore that. Like, never.
No.
So
It's complacency.
yeah,
It's complacency is what it is, and it's scary too, because you become desensitized by virtue of group conformity, because everything is normalized, like you said, because everybody else who you've now formed relationships with is engaging with it as though it's okay, or finding justifications for it as though it's okay. And that pushes you further into an unhealthy mindset, from my point of view.
Hello, guys.
hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Yes. Thank you. I'm back. Okay. So, what did I miss?
We were talking
we
about.
were just talking.
Yeah, we were talking about the well, we were talking about the fact that we agree wholeheartedly that no one wants to be lonely, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed. And you're valid in your feeling that way. Our issue lies in what you consider to be your means of support, and that falls with the incel community. It's like I told you last night. The best thing to do would be for the guys in there that are reasonable and who detest this stuff that they're seeing, is to break away and start your own forum. And what was your just to recap? What was your reaction to that last night when I suggested that?
It actually blew my mind. I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't think of that."
How could you have not? You're such a clever man. How could you have not thought of that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I was just part of the group, and I just kept following, and I was having fun, and it just did not occur to me, like, hang on, these people are sometimes disturbing, and I will inevitably. You made a great point, Kyle, that people are going to look at those disturbing posts and inevitably lump me in there as part of that community. And when you made me realize that I can make a separate forum, I was like, Jesus, why didn't I think of that?
And it's easy.
But yeah,
it's easy to do.
It is pretty easy. Could I just maybe go back to that point I was making before I had to go?
Yes.
Of course, yes, please.
So what I was talking about is that when you are at a really severe level of despair, then there is an exquisite comfort and there is a great pleasure in it's like a masochistic pleasure in kind of harming yourself psychologically and just soaking up that vicious circle of self-hatred, self-loathing, and just with your friends commiserating over it and being like, yes, we're all so ugly, we're all, the world is a cruel place, and we might make it hyperbolic or whatever, but it just, in that moment, when we are all in that level of despair and self-hatred, it's comfortable and it feels good to hate yourself sometimes, and people are driven, like I was saying, it's just like runner's high. You get to the stage at which you enjoy it. You enjoy that self-harm. And as we have been discussing now, it's not healthy, of course not, but some people just do it because they don't have any other options. So I think society could potentially help by making sure that intersex relations and like social skills are more heavily focused on in high school. Because, oh shit. One second.
I have a question for you.
I just got a notification.
I have a question for you. And I don't mean this in any way demeaning or anything like that, because I myself I've done therapy many times. Have you tried that aspect?
Oh, okay.
Have you when I say that, I don't want you to take this like I'm condescending or anything, but have you actually tried speaking to a therapist and sorting out when you say, because I don't agree with you that it's okay to be a part of something where you start celebrating the fact that you're the negative thoughts that you have. But have you tried speaking with like a professional that can maybe talk through some of those things?
I'll just preface. I'll say that I'm not offended by anything, so you can be as personal as you want. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not
Well,
one
some
of those
people,
people to
some
say,
people
"Oh,
just take
you've."
that. Some people just take that wrong when I don't mean it from a place like,
Ah,
oh, you're
that's okay.
crazy.
That's
You
okay.
need, because here's some to everybody out there. Not all crazy people have to see, um, like a psychologist or something like that. I don't consider myself. Well, Shannon, do you think I'm crazy?
Well, but here's the problem though with that. I'm not going to answer that question. The problem is that there's such a stigmatization around mental illness in
Sure.
general, or anybody that seeks out help to improve their mental health, that it unfortunately it is perceived as an insult because everybody thinks to themselves, "Oh, that means that you think these horrible things about me, that I'm crazy or that I'm mentally disturbed," when really it just means that, okay, you know what, maybe you're not in the best place right now, and maybe, and admittedly so, perhaps having a conversation with somebody who's objectively outside of you, where you can share your thoughts and at least hear them out loud and have them assessed in a comfortable environment, could benefit you. So yeah, but you know what, you are crazy.
And it helps though. Like I know everybody in the live chat right now is saying yes, Kyle is crazy. Kyle is crazy. Um, but let me tell you from firsthand experience, I have done it, and it helps. There's something cathartic about having a conversation with someone that knows nothing about you, doesn't know your friends. It has no stake in the game, so to speak, and it helped me tremendously. So has that been something that you've tried?
I have tried it in the past, but I find I understand that it can help a lot of different people. Talking to somebody else, as you say, it's a cathartic experience. But for me, I'm a very obsessive kind of person, and when I fixate on an idea that is either a fear or a worry of mine or something I stress about, then talking to a psychiatrist or psychologist it's like they're telling me, just ignore that and have a look at this. They're trying to redirect. And for me, I find it almost impossible to redirect my thoughts, which is basically all that psychologists and psychiatrist trips are. They're helping you redirect your thoughts from a negative sphere into a positive sphere. I just find myself consciously in a place where it's almost impossible to shift my thinking from negative to positive spheres. It's something I have to do myself. So personally, I've never found psychologists to be helpful, simply because I find them to only ever talk about shifting my perspective, right? And that's never something that I've been able to do with the help of someone else. It's a conclusion I've come to by myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I'm surprised that you haven't been able to find somebody that would be able to assist you in analyzing why you fixate before they try to redirect. Because an
Well, that's
analyzation of
true.
why you're fixating would be more valuable to help prevent the fixation than simply just redirection. That's symptom management instead of cause analysis.
That's a good point. Maybe I haven't been looking hard enough. Who knows?
You should look into somebody
But
who does some cognitive behavioral therapy, perhaps, because that sounds like maybe a bit of a counseling solution as opposed to somebody who's more focused on behavioral attributions.
yeah, and of course, there's always the tablets I can take, the drugs
Don't,
to get myself
Yeah.
high.
No. 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 No.
don't, no, don't go.
No,
No,
so it's a
I
bad
don't
idea to
think
get
that.
high on antidepressants.
Yes. There's a time and a place for them, whether absolutely needed and required and necessary. Unfortunately, I am in the camp that believes that they are overprescribed, and
Agreed.
that the people that, yeah, that the people that do really, really, really need them and benefit from them are, um, do need them, but they're given far too often as a band-aid,
Yeah.
that causes further issues because they deal with your brain chemistry. So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But it might be beneficial to search
That
out.
needs to be a last option, I think, because like Shannon said, medication is prescribed way too often, and it just to some I've seen it. So one of my best friends went down that road, and he's just a zombie, like a former shell of himself. It almost made it for him to where there's no reaction to anything. Like it took off the his anxiety for what was causing it initially, and then everything else. And so now he's just like a shell of a person. I mean, there's no spark behind his eyes anymore like there used to be. It's really sad, I think.
Okay, well, that's a bit unfortunate because I've already been taking antidepressants for 3 days. Shit.
You find them
Well,
beneficial?
now we're not. Now listen, we're not. Here's another thing too. We're not telling you not to take them either. If
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
a decision between you and your doctor. It sounded
correct.
like you were just making a knee jerk, like let's go get some. This
Yeah,
is a decision I'm making in the
Yeah.
moment. If you and a doctor have had this conversation and they've been deemed required, that's between you and your doctor.
right. We are not
And
medical
as
professionals.
I said, right? No, goodness no. And as I said before, when they are necessary, and people should have them.
Correct.
It's
And
not
you'll
up to
know.
me or
Sure.
Kyle to make that determination.
And you'll know if it starts to where you're having adverse reactions to it, or it's getting worse, or you get that feeling like something's not right, then you still need to go and talk to your doctor about that. But just because we say we feel that they're overprescribed, that is in no way indication that you need to stop taking. Follow what your doctor says.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So continuing on with the conversation, I think I would like to ask you guys a question about your thoughts. So, how, what would you say to a person who is kind of from my kind of social background, right? I have grown up, like I said previously, being an affectionate, friendly, positive guy, and every kind of attempt I make at trying to establish a meaningful bond with a girl, I have been let down every time, and this has
So
affected
have
me
I.
psychologically. I've yeah, but like it's lowered my self-esteem. I feel worse about myself. In subsequent interactions with women, I just kind of think, she probably won't like me anyway. This kind of
Mm.
psychological impact is very long lasting. It lasts your whole life. So, what do you guys think is like the potential impact that this can have on young men's lives, young men who have not been shown interest, young men who have been treated with apathy, disinterest, and just left out in the cold. I have been left out in the cold by girls. I mean, I have a lot of female friends, right? But when I say left out in the cold, it's that they don't offer me romantic interest, and that's fine. I'm not their type, but just the fact remains that I can't get romantic interest, and this makes me feel bad about myself. I struggle with this. What do you guys think is a coping mechanism for these kinds of men who struggle so much despite their best efforts?
I think it would be individualistic. I'm not sure that I can say everybody who is in this situation that feels this way should pursue X, because X, whatever my suggestion is, may not be best for that individual person, right? So,
Yeah.
to give sort of an overall generic answer, it sounds like you have female friends, which is fantastic. You're fantastic at conversing, like you're a great conversationalist. I'd say pursue other interests, and I know you have difficulty not fixating, but find a manner in which to not fixate. Do things that make you feel positive about yourself, and
Yeah.
perhaps one day it will come,
Here's
right,
my
with more
advice.
confidence.
Oh, sorry, Shannon. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, go ahead. Go.
Uh,
No, you're good.
here's my advice. My advice is to keep at it. Um, I think in your case, your obsession with, like you said, you get off on. I think what you're doing is you're in your own head, and when something starts to seem like it's going in in a good direction, you start to think to yourself, well, how's this going to end? What am I going to do to mess this up? This can't be the way that it's going to be, and so you self sabotage yourself. I think that there's a saying that I can't think of what it is right now, but it has to do with people who failure and people who keep pursuing past it. That's the indicator. Like, in the moment that you're not looking for a relationship, I've always found this out. The moment that I say, when I get out of a relationship, the moment that I say, you know what, I'm a strong, single, independent woman. I don't need anybody. Um, one falls flat in your lap, and I think with you and the sort of the forum, it centers around that. Like you're constantly thinking about relationship and needing someone else to validate you. Once you validate yourself, that other stuff will come, but you have to get to that point where you're willing to accept you for who you are before anyone else, before you can expect anybody else to accept you. You have to be willing to be okay with you and accepting towards yourself. And that, I think, is the biggest issue that you have and that you need to work through.
Yeah, you need to be able to find a fashion in which to be content without external validation, to be internally content regardless of external messages. Which isn't easy.
Think also, yeah, it's of course a lot easier said than done. But I think also a large component of the issue which keeps driving incels on the forum and a lot of us around the world into that negative spiral is just that most of us can agree that we missed out on a lot of beautiful life experiences from youth, right? Like teenage love, being a teenager, being in love and being able to just not have a care in the world, knowing that you have your partner right there, and exploring love, spirituality, romance as a blissful or blissfully ignorant but happy young person, young teenager. I think the fact that a lot of us have grown up, especially in high school, in situations where we didn't have these beautiful experiences, we spent that time cooped up in our rooms on the internet, being isolated, being alone. This cumulative psychological impact has just made a lot of us into pessimistic and deeply troubled people, which is why we find it so hard to, I suppose, continue finding optimism and meaning moving forward. Yeah, you know, and
well, if you continue to entrench yourself in those, if you continue to entrench yourself in that environment, yeah, it would be, because you're not out engaging with positive experiences. You're reveling in negative ones. And that's a choice. Yeah, that's a choice.
That's true. That is a choice.
Choosing that for yourself. You are choosing that for yourself. Mm-hmm. And you could choose an alternative. No, you could choose an alternative.
But that's the thing.
You're choosing that.
Some alternatives are off limits, though. That's the thing. Like some
Not
people.
All.
I'll just make the point that some alternatives are off limits to people. For example, if you are of a particular facial look, you may look intimidating, you may arouse fear in people or caution. People may not feel comfortable around you, but just simply because of the way that you look, right? You can't run away from your face. If you have that kind of face, you're stuck with that for life. So inevitably, going through your life, you are going to be faced with situations where you are socially isolated, not even of your own accord. You may approach people, you may want to make friends, you may want to go into these situations with a positive mindset that you are going to have fun and enrich yourself, but people will just feel uncomfortable around you because of your face.
Then so as a result, I'm sorry to interrupt, but then fuck them. That's an issue. That's an issue. That's an issue on their end, not with you. You can't let. It goes back to the validation thing. You can't let other people validate who you are. If you're hanging around people that judge people based on how someone looks when they walk in the door, fuck those people. Go hang out with a different group of people. Those are the wrong people that you want in your life anyway.
Kyle.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never not selected a friend based on aesthetic, ever. It's never even been a consideration in my determination of who I bring into my social circle. Ever. It's personality and shared interests. Those are paramount. Like if you're like moving away from sexual relationships, if we're just talking about external social interaction off of the internet, or at least, or even on the internet, you can get off the forum and go to a different forum on the internet and find social interaction where you don't even have to show your face. Right. There's those alternatives as well. If you're still feeling social anxiety about entering into the world for those relationships, there are other alternatives online that aren't that.
For sure.
Even out in the world, I think that a lot of it might be that if you've had those constant negative experiences, and you reference high school quite frequently, you may be misattributing how people your anxiety could be projecting. And people could be reacting to what is actually your anxiety and fear about how they're going to react to you. And you're reading that as though it's because of your face, when really It's because you're projecting anxiety or body language that's closed off. Right?
That
You're
is a
tapping at
good point.
You're deciding for other people why they're making determinations about you without them having any input into it. You are just attributing it to them based on the personal experience you've had and what you've attributed those past experiences to. And it may not have even been the case then in all situations. And I'm sure people did some really hurtful, awful things to you. Oh my gosh, believe me, I know I've had some pretty shit things done to me in high school.
Same here.
And yeah, so, and I know you think I probably don't know, but I know what it's like to be just so unattractive that it's a competitive sport to make fun of how ugly you are. That's what it was like for me. People are
cruel.
And
people are cruel.
And that leaves a mark. That leaves a mark where you now, that's the lens that you see social interactions through. So you wear that.
Yes, exactly. You wear the mark of your negative experiences. And some people are better at coping with these experiences than others. That's the thing, that some people can just brush it off, move on, and become more. But then others, like me, we struggle to do this, as well as as the fact that we develop fixations, you know? And this becomes like a 24/7 negative impact, and just this thing that weighs us down psychologically. This fear, this anxiety, compounded throughout 24 years of these negative experiences, where you put yourself out there into these social and romantic situations, and you are told that you are unattractive. You are implied that you are unattractive. You are rejected. You are let down. And it just takes its toll, like a severe toll. And a lot of men are just not able to deal with this. You know?
You can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone.
You can't do it alone. You need a good support network. And I think society good idea of creating good social education programs in high school.
Gigacel, don't get me. I meant that you can't do it alone to get through this. Not to the lonely aspect, but you are worth taking an investment to yourself and the time that it takes to work through the thoughts that you have. Because I promise you, once you get through that, and that barrier of the anxiety of how these social interactions are going to be for you, it'll be like night and day. But you can't do that by yourself. And people on a forum can't walk you through that either. Shannon and I, as fabulous as we are, we can't work through that for you either. But you're worth it. And you deserve to have those thoughts be gone from you. And it's going to take some time and some work with a professional that is used, or that you know, is an expert in working through those things to do it. And I think that you're willing to do, but you just have to find the right fit in terms of a professional. But you owe it to yourself to do that, because you are worth it. I promise you that.
I am L'Oreal.
Yeah. See?
Or even like, I can't wait for you to start your own forum where the horrible, violent ideological, the violent ideation, pornographic.
The dog pill. Like, what the hell is that?
Oh no, not the dog pill again.
Right? You cannot
the regret
be the
pill.
only
That's what I took last night.
Like, you must talk to other people on that forum that are like, holy shit, what is this? I wish I knew of another place to go, because this isn't me. This isn't helping me. And this is now how society perceives people like me.
Yes, I'm now in this boat, being lumped in this boat of psychopaths.
So get out of the boat. Get out of the fucking boat.
Yeah, that's true.
Build a new boat.
I would like to make a point, which I outlined to you in an email. I think you went through all those emails at some point, yeah? Like
I did.
Covered all of them, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll just
to be fair though, you did send me like an encyclopedia worth of emails.
Yeah, that's true. I did send a lot. I think one very important point, which I would like to state now, is the difference between anger and psychopathy. Psychopathy is, of course, the tendency to do things like incels, like Alec Minassian and Elliot Rodger. These guys were psychopaths, and that is distinctly different to anger. Psychopaths will take a gun, pull the trigger, and shoot somebody in cold blood. They are able to do that because they don't have that normal human reaction that's telling them, do not kill this person. This is another human being. What are you doing? this is not normal. Like a vast majority of incels are not psychopaths and would not pull the trigger of a gun to kill another person in cold blood. We are just angry people. And like, I'm sure you guys would agree that
You're angry at the wrong person, though.
negative experience.
You're angry at the wrong person.
Yes.
And you're choosing the wrong.
I'll just continue.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Guys.
I'm sorry.
I'll just continue quickly. I'm sure you guys can agree that compounded negative experiences very easily can make some people very angry at themselves and angry at the world around them. And so you can basically view incels as these people who have just had a lifetime of bad experiences and decided to stomp their foot and say, okay, I'm angry about this. Let me offend everybody. Let me shitpost. And let me just be as rude and insulting as possible. And as I was saying before in my emails, this is just them blowing off steam and trying to cope with the fact that they had to go through all these experiences, right? These are just people who want to deliberately provoke and inflame the population just to irritate them for the fun of it, right?
But that doesn't excuse it, though. That doesn't excuse their behavior for what they're.
That's true.
Let's get that clear first. Shitposting is. Yeah, you still have to. There are still consequences that come with that. And if they would take,
I was about to say.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were. Go ahead.
I was about to say that this is not a healthy coping mechanism, nor is it a responsible thing to be doing. But I just wanted to draw the distinction between angry and kind of throwing tantrum like little babies who just want the world to know they're annoyed. Like we are guilty of behaving like that on the forum. There's a difference between us doing that and actual psychopaths who will go out and kill. Sure. Psychopaths can be found in any demographic of people. And this is a small amount of people, but it's not exclusive to incels. What society does is they say, okay, cool, Elliot Rodger, Alec Manassian, and they make the connection, all incels are psychopaths who are willing to go out and kill. I just want to make the point that this connection is flawed because psychopaths and angry little people are separated by a massive, thick wall between Mexico and the USA.
But let me explain why they make that connection. Because there are people in that forum that may not reflect the majority of the character of the people that you're talking about. However, you and I can both agree, because I've seen it, that there are people who refer to Elliot Rodgers as the distinguished gentleman. There are people, we've had a person on this show that looked up to Elliot Rodgers. And they make the connection because the people like yourself, who may seem more reasonable, continue to post alongside the people that glorify Elliot Rodgers. So basically what you're doing is you guys have dug that hole yourself, and now the onus is on you to get the fuck out of that hole. But you can't blame them for making that connection, because those what you consider normal, people who are just throwing a tantrum, that post is alongside a post of talking about rape or Elliot Rodgers being some kind of godhead. So you can't blame them for making that connection.
That's like absolutely true.
It's like you took really great cookies and mixed them in with a pile of shit and then said, well, it's not all shit. Some of it's cookies.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, and I'm telling society, you're right. That's actually a very good analogy. And then I'm telling society, guys, what's your problem? It's not all shit. There's some good cookie here.
Don't you want
this?
But there's cookies.
That's a good point. Yeah. God, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, you continue, Kyle.
That's all that I had. I think that for you, I think you'll see a much better outlook on life when you don't have that negative influence in your life, because whether if you say that you're not paying attention to it or whatever, seeing that, reading that still on some level still affects you. But more importantly than getting outside of the forum, I think for you personally, because I can't speak to any kind of advice for the greater incel community, because we haven't talked to them. We're only talking to you right now. But I think that you owe it to yourself to get and speak to a professional, because I think once you work through your anxiety, your entire life will change, and you owe it to yourself to do that. Because being not living life to the fullest each day is cheating yourself, because you definitely deserve that, just like everybody else does.
Thank you. I'm L'Oreal.
You are L'Oreal.
Thank you, Kyle.
L'Oreal cell.
Yeah.
So
L'Oreal cell. That'll be my new little nickname. I
We're-
made a post last night. I made a post last night on the forum, basically telling people, like, you guys have fucked it up for all of us, and you're putting us all in the same shitty boat because of your comedy, shit posting, troll posting. Even if it is in the name of comedy, it doesn't look like it. Dog pill and raping 8-year-old girls—that's psychopathic shit. People they claim on the forum they do it for fun, right? But it just doesn't look like that to the public. And so I told them, I said, you guys have
King Gigacel, listen. It was their fault and their fuck up the first time they posted shit like that. But the moment that it was clear to everyone in that forum that that kind of talk was going to be allowed and condoned and not be booted off, the responsibility then shifts to you to either extricate yourself from that or
condemn it wherever you see it.
Yeah,
report
absolutely.
it.
I think even more than that, but even more than that, I think at this point condemning it's not even enough. You have to get out of that. You can't be I'm not gonna get worked up again, but the things they're talking about. No compassionate
normal human being.
No person with morals. I know atheists talking about morals. Close your ears, Christians. This is going to really piss you off. But you can't be a.
I can hear the
yeah, fire's burning. But we're hitting at the hour and a half mark too. And I know it's late for Shannon, so we don't want to keep her up because I think she has to work in the morning, so we're not going to keep her.
I do.
Up.
It's midnight here.
At this time. Making a last minute thoughts that you want, King Gigacel, but I want to ask you a question before you do that. How was our conversation last night, and how do you think this conversation is going to be received on the forum? I'm just curious.
Well, I enjoyed the conversation last night. I was appreciative of the fact that I was not. I mean, we had a productive conversation. Everybody was of goodwill, and everybody was positive and constructive. And I think this conversation went largely the same way. And I think it's good. I hope that it will be positively received. However, I am not sure if some people may still make that connection that, he's an incel, he must be a misogynistic idiot or something. I can't tell. Maybe some people will still make comments like that. But I think for the most part, from seeing how I've interacted with you guys and how we've had this conversation, I think a lot of people will consider it a productive conversation.
They will only do that. They will only do that as long as you are a part of that forum. The moment that you make an effort,
step out
to get outside of, because you don't need a
They'll
label.
turn on you.
Yeah, you don't need a label. Like you don't. If incels, if incels.is, which is the forum, if that is a representation of what it means to be an incel, the fact of the subject matter on there. It's going to be allowed, right? We know that it's going to be that's going to be able to be talked about. I would not call myself an incel anymore. You don't need that label. You don't need something to box you in, because that's exactly what labels do. They box you in. And if you're going to wear a label, you better make sure that you're okay with the box that you're getting put in. Like myself, as an atheist. Or an anti-theist, even. I go a step further. I look at my company of fellow anti-theists, and I'm pretty honored to be a part of those like-minded people.
Yes.
So if you're going to put yourself in a box with a label, make sure that you're comfortable with the party that you have, because in your box are pedophiles and rapists and those sort of things, and you don't want that. Get out of that box.
People think
That's
it's
true.
a joke to talk about that stuff. That it's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah. We've pissed off some people. Yeah, you're right.
Get out of the box.
Congratulations. Anybody can do that. Good job. You did something literally anybody can do at any time.
Right.
Yeah.
If they're willing to be an asshole, anybody can piss somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
And
You did it.
And willing to be
Steve,
now what?
Of course, as well. Yeah, now what? Society hates you. Now what?
Just like
Good. Everything's better for you now, right? Good job.
Yeah, it doesn't fix anything.
Yeah.
Solved your problem.
Any last minute thoughts or questions that you have real quick? I'm gonna bring up the super chats and then let's see.
Last minute comment. I hope that I have shown you guys that I am quite a reasonable person who's willing to talk through a lot of different things and consider other opinions. And I'm reasonable in discussion. I'm not a ideological zealot, and I'm happy to be positive and respectful in discussion. And I hope I've made you guys realize that I'm quite a positive person.
Yeah. No, I gleaned that from you a little bit last time, but it wasn't just the three of us last time. Yeah. It's difficult to have a conversation with four people at the best of times, I think. So, and that was a heightened experience.
So my question for you now is, what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about my situation? Well, I think I'll go see a professional first and foremost, because that's something that's been on my mind for quite some time. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to have a serious think about antidepressants. Number three, you made some great points, making a separate forum or leaving it altogether and finding healthier alternatives. Ultimately, this conversation has been about, okay, let's say looks affect your life significantly. How are you going to manage that? How are you going to cope? So I need to find a way to cope and feel better about myself and live a better life. That was the original intention, to find a way to live a better life. So I need to find healthier alternatives, and that's what I intend to do. Find some good things to do in my life. And maybe, if I'm lucky, a female will come along, a girl who will love me for who I am.
Here's a question. Are you a member of our Discord?
No, I am not.
Okay, I'm going to send you an invite through your email. We have last time I checked, there's over 1,000 people on the Discord. There are conversations that go on all day long, all night long. It's a very active community, a lot of good people in there, and I want to keep you kind of close to the show. So if you'd like, please join the Discord. That will at least give you another place to if you feel like you need to talk to somebody. There's so many people in there that have just wonderful hearts. I mean, it's just a good group of people, I think. So I think that would be a good place maybe for you to start. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. I'm just giving you the option. But I want to I want to check in with you too. I think that'd be a good place to check in with, to keep, I don't want to say keep tabs, but keep tabs on you, and see if you did go and do connect with somebody, because I'd love, and Shannon I'm sure would agree, would love to bring you back in maybe a month, 2 months time, and see how you're doing after you've made some steps to do that. But I'll send you that invite. You join that, and that will at least be a community where I know that we're not posting about the things that are like the dog pill. There's no mention of the dog pill on there.
There's no need.
And I feel like you would engage so well there, because there's so many wonderful debates and interesting conversations about all manner of topic. You would fit right in, because you seem intelligent and cogent and articulate.
Yeah.
This would satiate your need for online interaction in such a more healthy and productive way. I think it would be great. And I don't know if you have Twitter or not, but if you do, try to find me on Twitter too. That's where I am most of the time. I'm sometimes on the Discord, but I'd love to keep in touch as well.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure to smash that like button, like, comment, and subscribe.
I'll send you all that stuff. Yeah. But there are, like Shannon said, you're articulate and you're intelligent, and you obviously are a thinker. And we have like in the rooms on the Discord, there are about there's probably 10 different rooms on various subjects. So people are having conversations all day long, and discussions like on things. So it's very opinionated, and it's very good for mental stimulation, I think. Like it'll keep your mind busy. So I'll send you that stuff and Shannon's Twitter. But yeah, I think that'll be good for you. Maybe we can replace your desire to go on to Dark World. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah, way less dog fucking. So much less.
So much.
Almost none.
In fact, there's none. In fact,
barely
there's
any
none. I get notified whenever things. And you know what though? The worst thing that's ever happened on there is someone used a word that is that could be construed as something something not good. But I don't think that's the way that they meant it. But it was still questionable. But that's even that's the worst. Definitely no
So
dog
it's
fucking.
a good.
No dog fucking.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what? That's going to be Ash, who runs our Ash and David McGinnis, who are I know David McGinnis is in the live chat, but they both run our Discord. Dave, change the tagline for our Discord to be non sequitur, no dog fucking. I just want to put that out there. I want to make sure that is that is first and foremost. Okay, no dog fucking.
So that's the first thing people know about us.
It has to be. I don't want any question on that. No question on.
We can't let that go without saying that it needs to be explicit.
Okay, Shannon, do you want to plug anything you've got coming up on your channel?
Everybody knows I'm garbage at self-promotion. No, go subscribe to my channel. It's good. I do stuff. It's neat.
Do you have any stuff?
It's called Shannon Q.
Do you have any stuff coming up?
Yeah, I'm doing the next in the Christian counseling series.
Oh, good.
And
that's a great series.
It's painful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad you like it. So yeah, that's my most popular series on my channel right now. It's only 2 videos in, but I'm starting to research the next segment. So yeah, go check out Shannon Q, and if you like more polished videos, check out those playlists. And I also engage in complex conversations on live streams, and there's a whole playlist surrounding that. And let me know what you think.
Oh no, David McGinnis said done. I didn't mean that, David McGinnis. Change it back to never follow.
No, don't you dare! Don't you dare, David.
David, can you do me a favor and post can you post a link to the Discord in the live chat, David?
I have something to add.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we are speaking about self-promotion, allow me to add. I have a background in voice acting, and I haven't done it in several years. But I was.
You were Nigel from the Wild Thornberries.
Oh yeah, smashing! Hello.
Wait, do it. Hold on, do it again. Do the smashing thing again.
Smashing! Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Go ahead.
I used to work for a gaming studio, and I used to work for a casino as well. So if anybody is looking for a versatile voice actor, then I would be happy to have a look at some new interesting projects to help some people out, because I find it fun, I enjoy it, and I'm a narrator, and I've done a whole bunch of things in the past.
That's what you need to do. Let me ask you a question. Are you on? And I'm serious about this. I think this would work wonders for you. This would be perfect for you. Are you on Fiverr?
Fiverr? What is that?
I'm sorry. It's Fiverr. Fiverr. It's the number 5 with 2 R's. Okay, listen. You have to go on there. Like as soon as you close out of here, go to Fiverr and set you up an account. What that is when we first started on this show, before I learned how to to do it all myself, our first intro video was done on Fiverr. These people, you set up your own kind of store on there, but you make an account. You tell people to that. I think so. That's what you need to do as soon as you close out. You set up a Fiverr account.
Sounds pretty cool, actually. Yeah. I'd love to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I always it was always a dream of mine to get into Hollywood and be like one of those movie trailer guys, But you have to know people, and that's hard.
Yeah, but you never know when your big break's going to come. That's the important thing to remember. And everybody that has ever made it, or to what extent made it means to you. You know what I mean? Like I'm a guy that talks to flat earthers on a regular basis, and I somehow feel like I made it. You know what I mean? So everybody's made it. I just love interacting with people. The fact that I'm able to do that on a regular basis is my idea of making it. My idea of making it is not being some syndicated personality, because I think you lose a little bit of who you are. Like here, I'm able to be me and talk to people, and I love people and the way they think and how they think about things. So I made it, and you know what? How I made it was I randomly was watching a Christopher Hitchens video, a debate, and it auto-played into a debate between G-Man and Red's Rhetoric. Now they were my they were my break, but you never know when that's going to come, man. It'll hit you out of nowhere. So maybe one of these avenues is your key to your big break.
Yeah, cool. I mean, there's a lot of options. All it takes is just researching those options, I guess, eh?
And I'll tell you this. Somebody pointed it out in the live chat. You sound like a completely different person now than you did even when we first started the stream.
Really?
Yes.
What kind of difference have you detected?
You sound happier now, and I think it's because there are there are options laid out. Like, your case is not final. You're not doomed to this life of misery and anxiety and not feeling good about yourself. You just have to be willing to do what needs to be done and to make those hard decisions. Some of them are hard. It's probably going to be hard for you to get off of incels.is because it's been a part of your life for I don't know how long, but that's been something that you go to. But you need to do the hard things, and if you make those hard choices. I told you last night, I used to be 300 pounds. Do you know how hard it is not to go around, like, literally, seriously, a half of a box of Twinkies I would eat in one sitting? Do you know how hard that is? I still struggle with that. I still struggle with it. One Twinkie's not enough.
And everybody at the Discord. And everybody over at the Discord is already waiting for you. There's lots of people in the chat pumped about you going over to the Discord. People are looking forward to chatting with you over there.
Oh, really? People like me?
It might keep you busy.
Awesome.
Yeah, you'll.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You're like a little mini celebrity in like you're coming off the show.
They renamed it for you. No dog fucking. It's literally the name.
Can I show you guys something?
A big deal. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Then we got to close because Shannon's got to get
What's
fed.
your surname, Kyle? What's your surname, Kyle?
My surname.
Yeah, I want to show you like the cinematic voice that I like to do.
What's the surname?
Your last name, dude.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. No, it doesn't matter. Okay.
The NonSequitur
it's-
Show, 7:30 on Friday, with Kyle Landry, coming soon to a theater near you.
Whoa, that was you?
That's crazy.
That was me, yeah.
No
The
way.
NonSequitur Show, coming with Shannon Q and Kyle Landry, coming soon to a theater near you.
Wow,
Available now on Blu-ray and DVD.
That's insane, actually.
Wow, it's like a switch. Yeah.
That's insane.
That's impressive. You have a talent, guys.
My surname is Curtis. I'm sorry that I had a mental moment of stupidity there. I was like, surname.
With
yeah,
Kyle Curtis.
that sounds like radio level professional though, for real. Like, that's amazing.
Well, thank you.
The
That
people.
was the goal.
Look, here's the comments that you're getting right now. Oh my God, Kyle's an idiot. No, not that one. Whoa.
That was
Whoa, that's awesome. That's pretty good, actually. That's good. I can't do that. Damn, dude, nice voice. Sounds like movie foam. Oh my God, super good.
Thank you.
Wow,
Yeah, it's really good. Bud Light.
that's really impressive. So see, like you focused on these things. You could with what I just heard there, you could really make a living doing the voiceover work. You honestly could.
I mean, the whole making a living thing is, I've already got my plans for that, but it's just something fun,
Even
First
better.
and foremost, it's fun.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even if that's what you do in your time, it's something positive. It's something that not only is contributing to
fulfilling.
to society, but yourself. Like you're doing yourself a favor doing that stuff because
And you're moving away from commiserating with people who just want you to hate yourself with them so that they can feel like they have company hating themselves.
Yep.
That's
so
true.
yeah.
You know what, guys? I feel like you're pulling me out of a very dark hole. Yeah.
Oh, I hope that you're sincere in that. I really do.
Sure.
Because I really
Oh, no,
I want
I'm-
that for you.
I am very sincere in what I say, in that you guys are psychologically lifting me up, and this conversation has lifted me up into a much more positive space. I already feel a little bit more optimistic and excited, So
Now
thank
run
you,
with
guys.
it. Run with it. Here, don't set yourself
Run
back.
like the wind, bullseye.
Right. Yes. I will give you. I'm going to send you that. I'm going to send you that link now for the Discord.
And please find me on Twitter. Please do. Please
Yeah,
find me on
I'm
Twitter.
going to send her your.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to send that to him.
I will
to
add you guys.
Shannon. Do me one favor though, and I have no way of knowing if you're going to do this or not. This is just a or what I think would be good for you. Take a night off from incels.is tonight.
Okay.
Keep with the feeling that you have right now, and go on the Discord, check it out. You know, go and meet the people who are over there on Discord. But take a step back from that for tonight. Don't ruin how you feel right now by going on and seeing some of the things that might be on there. And I think that slowly but surely that will get easier for you to do.
People are waiting for you on
Right.
Discord. You don't need to go there.
There you
Awesome.
go.
There are people on Discord ready to
Cool.
Yeah, you don't need to. You'll be able to. I'm sure you'll have tons of conversations to get into.
All right. And thank you both again for joining us, or joining me. There's no us. Thank you for joining me tonight, and thank you guys for watching. We don't say it enough, but we love now that as long as we're going with the wholesome feeling. This never happens. We never end in a way where everybody's kumbaya. Everybody's there's at least someone pissed
Kyle
off.
doesn't even know what the fuck to do right now.
I don't. I'm going crazy. There's at least someone pissed off
Like, I'm
every
happy and I
show.
don't know why.
No one's angry.
So
What
this
is
is
this feeling of happiness? This is so weird.
this is we
Kyle
never
doesn't know how to process it.
we never end a show. We never end a show with actually. This has been so wholesome that the fucking nun logo is putting her cigarette away. She's like, "I'm gonna quit smoking." That's how fucking positive this is.
Shit, yeah. Even the nun is like, "Oh, baby Jesus, I
Yeah.
believe you now."
Okay, so we need to stick with this. But no, thank you guys. We don't say it enough, but we love each and every one of you out there for all of your support and for standing by through us. We're almost at. It won't be long before we're at 25,000 subscribers, and that is an unbelievable number. One that it humbles me, and so I love you guys, and thank you for continuing to support this channel. And we'll see you tomorrow, back with more angry, yelling, dumpster fires. So we gave you tonight off. Enjoy it, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Bye.
I even remembered to
Adios,
go,
guys.
I even remembered to go to the end screen in 3, 2,